Alright, so hey everyone, today I want to take a look at Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. I've already done a video on this, but at some point the movement dead zone has been updated, but I'll cover everything again in this video. So for the camera, we have a 40% square or axial dead zone. 40% is a huge dead zone size, and it's a little larger than that because of the corners. You can just see how much stick movement you can make without anything occurring in game. Axial dead zones restrict diagonal movement within the dead zone. So at 40%, this is a huge range of the stick that can only output, in this case, perfectly horizontal movement, but this applies vertically as well. You only see diagonal movement become possible when you break out of both axis dead zones. The shaded region over here represents a jump in acceleration, and this seems to only occur at about 97% horizontally. Smoothing is also applied to the camera. This is different from the camera smoothing option in the menu. This has your turn speed build up over some time, and it's pretty obvious in this game where you can see when I push the stick fully, it takes a while to build up. And this makes it so very quick movements move the camera very little. So this can make the camera feel a little more sluggish than if it weren't applied. Movement is what's changed, and you can see this threshold under the dead zone just has you change your direction, and it seems like you can move or at least change your heading in any direction. However, sort of functionally it'll only be 8 since you have these large blocks of restricted diagonal movement, and all your diagonals are sort of scrunched within this region. Moving out of the dead zone will obviously make you start walking, so this is a little over like 33% or so. And this is a pretty big reduction. Previously it was about 54% or something dead zone, so this is about a 20% reduction compared to what the dead zone previously was. But we have an axial dead zone here as well, so movements within this region are force you to move perfectly straight, perfectly back, and perfectly horizontally as well. Like the camera, you only see diagonal movement when moving past both axial dead zones, and if we trace the dead zone, you can see how restricted it is right beyond the dead zone. The shaded region represents the sprint threshold. So when you're under this, you can't begin sprinting, but when you're over this, you can. And if you fall under the threshold in sprinting, you stop sprinting. The threshold bleeds a bit outside of this graph, so it kind of bleeds a little bit outside of there, which is a little dangerous because some players may not be able to access that threshold. As you can see, my thumbsticks lean pretty considerably outside of this, and so will most players, so that won't be much of an issue. And this actually is an improvement because previously the sprint threshold was mostly outside of this graph. So this update should make that less of a risk for players. I didn't formally test it previously, but I did this time, and this doesn't seem to have changed, but the map dead zone is a similar shape but much larger circular portion of the dead zone, so it's about 65% So this is colossal, and this is somewhat mitigated by the slow cursor sensitivity and sort of heavy aim assist on these icons. But this also has the same restricted diagonal movement applied to character movement. So you can kind of see it jittering a bit as it's moving diagonally. Now, I originally had requested that these dead zones be changed to circular, but that was dismissed because there's a lot of other bug fixes to get done. But it is unfortunate that they've lowered the circular thresholds for the movement and the sprint threshold when they could have removed the axial dead zones because that would have lowered the overall dead zone size anyway, and given players full diagonal movement, and also made these thresholds perfectly circular. So this threshold would be entirely within this graphed region if they had just done that. So it's unfortunate that they, produced the circular thresholds and not the axial ones. But otherwise, that about covers it. So thanks for watching, and everyone, have a good rest of your day.